and he was a friend of the family and owned several businesses in the community. So pretty much everything I think about when I think about the grounding of the central area, all of the businesses that were owned by African Americans in this area, and how I interacted just kind of on a daily basis with all the business people, all of the people, professionals and domestics alike. So everything I know is about the central area.
That's nice. And in your opening, what street makes up the Central District?
Yeah, so the central area essentially is a swath of the center of Seattle that extends from about 23rd and Rainier, where Rainier runs into 23rd, all the way to, on the north, to about Thomas Street, and on the west, about 14th, or you could go to 12th Avenue, and on the east to Lake Washington Boulevard. And that area was an area that was redlined, and redlining indicates that there is a geographic area around which, or within which, African Americans could live. Those were the only places that they could live. So in Seattle, the central area was the only place that black people could live. And that was a legislated law. Essentially, if someone rented or sold to a black person outside of the central area before 1968, they were committing a crime. I mean, punishable, but not necessarily punishable, but it was a crime because it was legislated that you could only rent or purchase a home within the central area. So while that was the only place that black people could live, it was also populated by Italians, Asians, Filipinos. It was a really diverse community, always was a really diverse community. But 70% of the black population in the city of Seattle resided in the central area around 1970. Right now we are down to less than 7% of the population that lives in the central area. So it's seen a huge transition. I hate to call it decline because I don't like that negative language, but it's a huge transition where we have more black people who reside in the county. So this is Martin Luther King County, but outside of the city of Seattle, when you get into Kent and Auburn and Puyallup and Federal Way, that's still King County. More black people live in those areas than they do in the center of the city.